Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Christmas tarot reading party. I'm so excited to hang out with you this afternoon. I'm going to be pulling cards for those of you who would like a one card reading. And I'd also love to answer any of your questions about tarot. If you have questions about learning tarot, about giving readings, or if you just want me to talk about some sort of tarot related topic, let me know. I'm happy to do that as well. So I just want to take a moment to let everyone settle in, get comfy, and say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're from. Hello, Becky, Jabby, Anna. Hello and welcome, everyone. As you can see, I've got my Christmas tree in the background here. I was going to do this live just at my work desk, and then I thought, why don't I do it in my living room? Because it's a little more festive. It's more Christmassy. Hello, Delphina, Carla, Dr. Anise. Okay. I guess I should introduce myself. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kate. I'm also known as the Daily Tarot Girl. And I've been reading tarot for, I don't even know how long now, at least 15 years now, I think. I'm a tarot card reader and I'm also a tarot teacher. Teaching tarot is what I'm really, really passionate about. And I'm also super passionate about just studying tarot. That's something that I'm like really into and really excited about. So I'm really honored to be here with you today live and pull some cards for you. So somebody asked a question. Oh, Tammy, you finally made it to a live. Yay. Okay, someone asked me a question. How do you decide which decks to use? How do you choose when you have so many decks? Yeah, so it's really challenging if you have a lot of decks to choose a deck, I think. And so I have what I call my easy decks, the decks that I kind of gravitate to just because they're very easy to read with, and I tend to choose those more often than not. What deck I choose will depend on who I'm reading for, what they're asking about, if I'm reading for myself. Yeah, so it depends if I'm reading for myself or if I'm reading for someone else. One of my favorite decks is the Lightseers Tarot, and this is the deck I'm going to be using today. I also really like the Everyday Witch Tarot. The Modern Witch Tarot is a good one. The Dark Mansion Tarot. There's so many great ones, but those are, especially the Lightseers and the Everyday Witch, tend to be the two that I use the most. Okay. Lois, you said, you mentioned that the Queen of Swords is the most awkward court card in social situations. How awkward is the Knight of Pentacles? Okay, so the Knight of Pentacles, I've already prepared my script for that video, although I haven't filmed it yet. So this is fresh in my head because I just finished up that script. So the Knight of Pentacles isn't really socially awkward, but he's not super social. I think of my husband as being like a Knight of Pentacles. If you throw him in a social situation, he can function and he can be charming and conversational and all that, but it's one of his least favorite things to do, so he tends to like avoid socializing as much as he can. He likes to kind of avoid parties and stuff, but I wouldn't necessarily call him socially awkward. All right. I'll answer one more question and then I'll start pulling some cards. What's the best way to read combinations? Oh, okay. So I'm just planning a workshop on this very topic, and I started making the notes for that workshop yesterday. And tarot combinations, so think of it this way. So when you're cooking, this is kind of a weird analogy, but when you're cooking, let's say you're making like a soup or a stew or something. And with each additional spice or ingredient, that's going to change the flavor of that soup. And so let's say you have a soup with like carrots, celery, onion. If you add some like broccoli, that's probably not going to change the flavor that much. But if you add cayenne pepper, that's going to totally change it. So if you've got a tarot reading and you're turning over the cards and maybe you've got the Empress, the Ace of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, and then you turn over the Two of Wands, okay, that's gonna, add a slightly different dimension to the reading. But let's say instead of the Two of Wands, you get the Devil. I mean, that's gonna totally change the vibe of the reading and it's gonna be very different. So how do you read combinations? Think of them as ingredients. So think of your tarot cards as being like ingredients in a dish. And there's certain ones that are like the cayenne peppers. There's certain ones that are like the curry powders, and like they're just like boom right there in the reading. They're really strong. And then there's other things that are more like a pinch of salt, so they have more of a subtle effect. I don't think I'm really answering your question. How do you read? What's the best way to read combinations? Think about when you get two cards, um, or more than two cards. You have a few cards, and they're all combined. Think about how do they interact with each other? Like, think of them in terms of personality. If each tarot card is like a person with a personality, what would their personality be like? And how would they interact with each other if you put them in a room together? So, like, Knight of Pentacles versus Two of Swords. If those were characters or people, what might their personalities be like? And if they were to come together at a party and meet, what would that interaction be like? So that's one starting point. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. Good question though. Okay, so I'm gonna draw a card for Meredith. I would love a reading. What do I need to pay attention to in 2023? Okay, so let me just shuffle my cards, Meredith, because I haven't shuffled this deck yet. I meant to do it before I started the live and I didn't get a chance. Okay, so Meredith, and again, I'll let people know I'm using the Light Seers Tarot, one of my favorite decks for these readings today. And I want to know what tarot decks are on your Christmas list this year. What decks are you hoping to get, or what decks are you going to gift yourself? What deck or decks, I should say. Not everyone's buying themselves multiple decks for Christmas, but all right. So Meredith, you're asking, what do I need to pay attention to in 2023? Okay. Okay, so Meredith, you got Five of Cups. So I'll just show you this card. So Five of Cups shows me this black hole and how what you focus. This is interesting because your question was, what do I need to focus on, or what do I need to pay attention to? Okay, so what you focus on this year, it's very powerful. So if you dwell on things that didn't work out, or if something isn't working out, or you're frustrated with something, if you dwell on it too much, it can be like a black hole that sucks you in. And what's really striking me about the imagery on this card is there's this black hole in the center, or at the bottom of the card, but in the center of that black hole, there is this light that's emanating from it. And so I get two messages, which at first seem like mixed messages. But the first message is to pay attention to where you put your focus, because where you put your focus has power this year. Well, all years, but definitely this year. So what you focus on, that really, there's a lot of power in what you put your attention on. At the same time, when something is causing you suffering, or you're frustrated with something, or something isn't working out, it's not saying to ignore that thing or to push it to the side, because in the center of those feelings or situations, there is this light. It's like there's something that's waiting to be discovered. So don't be afraid of challenges this year. Don't be afraid of negative feelings. The secret to, I guess, transforming those feelings is to go into them and get to the heart of them, to find that pearl or that light that's at the center of the darkness. That's kind of what I'm getting with the Five of Cups. But ultimately, and another thing I'm noticing, actually, I'm noticing a couple other things. So I'm noticing the bowl that's behind her that's full. You might not be able to see it very well here, but it's full of all these colored lights, and it's like all this magic stuff in this bowl, and it's just kind of behind her. And then there's a path going off into the distance, but she has her back turned to those things. So I'm thinking that in 2023 there's some surprise gifts and things that you aren't totally aware of yet and haven't fully tapped into, that you'll have the opportunity to tap into as you move through the year. So I know that this wasn't a very clear answer for your clear question, which was what should I, pay attention to? I think pay attention to your emotions, pay attention to your feelings, and keep it in the back of your mind that um, that there's untapped resources within you. There's gifts that are how do I say it? Uh, Keeping in mind that you're not always fully aware of the opportunities and gifts as they present themselves. So just kind of being vigilant of that, keeping aware of that. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, lots of people are asking, like, what do I need to know about 2023? This is awesome. I'm going to be doing a big kind of general reading for my channel sometime in between Christmas and New Year, where I do like a little forecast reading. But I actually want to just shuffle my cards, and I want to pull a card for everybody. Like, I want to do a kind of a general one card reading about 2023 and kind of in general what we need to focus on. So this is a very, very general reading, obviously. Okay, so what do we need to focus on in 2023? All right, Ace of Cups. This is funny because this is the card that was at the bottom of the deck when I started shuffling. So Ace of Cups, which is a really nice card to get here, really beautiful card. And it's all about being heart-centered. And the card, she's holding the cup here with the heart in the center. The Ace of Cups is about connecting with your heart and really connecting with your center of compassion and empathy. And in order to do that, there's a certain amount of self-acceptance that needs to happen first. It's hard for you to be this compassionate person with other people if you're rejecting parts of yourself. So what I get from the Ace of Cups is that this is about accepting the self unconditionally this year, being more gentle and forgiving with yourself. Nobody's perfect. None of us are perfect. We've all made mistakes, and we'll all continue making mistakes, probably, hopefully less mistakes as we get older. But this is about kind of letting go of this idea of perfection so that we can be easier on ourselves and we can be more compassionate with ourselves, which in turn will help us get to this place of being heart centered and compassionate with those around us. What I get from this card is there's this energy of radiation. So that heart is radiating outwards. Something for us to focus on in 2023 is radiating that peaceful, compassionate, loving energy out to all beings on earth. And there's lots of specific kind of meditation practices that help you do this. So if that's something that feels good for you, you can do that. But there's other ways to do this as well. And for some reason, like off the top of my head, I can't think of any other examples other than those like loving kindness meditations. But I think that as we focus on that, as we step into the new year, that's a really wonderful thing to center on and to focus on. Another thing that stands out to me is the water that is overflowing on this cup. And it's funny, I've never noticed this in this card, but there's like this swoosh, like a little wave of water that's spilling out of the cup. And it's this idea that your cup is so full that it's overflowing. So it makes me think of practicing gratitude, um, getting to a place of really feeling abundant and I think that we're kind of trained to like, when I hear the word abundance, I immediately think money and wealth and material wealth, but there's so many other ways to think of abundance, and with the Ace of Cups especially, I feel like this is an abundance of, like, loving feelings and compassion and positive feelings. Yeah, okay. Hmm. Okay, I'm just reading through all the comments here to get to a question. Um, okay. Oh, my kitty's coming in to say hi. Hey, Merlina. Hey, girl. I was a little bit nervous about doing a live out in my living room. Normally, I like to go into my office and close the door because my cats can sometimes, especially my cat Merlina, will quite often jump on my desk and walk across my laptop. And I was worried she'd mess something up. Okay, I'm gonna do a reading here for Karen King. I would like a reading if possible. What part of my health should I focus on for 2023? All right. So I'm just gonna ask the cards. What card does Karen need to see right now that will help her get some clarity on her question? Ooh, Ace of Swords. Two aces so far already. Okay, so Ace of Swords. Now this is a couple things come to mind with the Ace of Swords. The first thing is I see the Ace of Swords as being this card of starting something and not making any more excuses. So if there's something that you've been thinking about doing, but you've been thinking, oh, it's not the right time. I can't do that until this happens or whatever. Ace of Swords is saying, stop making excuses, just go for it. If there's something that you've been pondering, whether it's a project or you asked about health. So maybe this is like something like an exercise regime or something like that. But the Ace of Swords is saying, just take the first step. You don't have to have the whole journey planned out, but just take the first little step. Another thing I get with the Ace of Swords is that little things make a big difference. And you are asking about health. So it's actually little things in your day to day life that can make a really big impact on your well being overall in all areas, whether it's physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, whatever area of well-being you're concerned with. It's the little habits and the little things that make a difference, and I think that we sometimes get caught up in this idea that we have to make big sweeping changes in order to have more energy or to be healthier. What I get from the Ace of Swords is actually it's the little things, it's the little habits that all add up that make, a big difference. The other thing I get with the Ace of Swords is this is really a card of the mind. And as you can see, there's this spiraling staircase on her head that also looks kind of like a seashell. And there's this light projector thing coming out of her of her head. This is a really interesting symbol. And the Ace of Swords, the suit of swords, is all about the mind and the mental aspect. And what I get with this card is that I see you focusing on things. It's saying that your mind, and again, I kind of said this earlier for someone else, but when you focus your mind on something, it's very powerful. It's almost like your mind is like this mini projector. And something happens when you focus on something, especially when you focus on something when you're in kind of a meditative state. So you can get into a meditative state on purpose by, consciously going into a meditative state, but we're always accidentally going into meditative states throughout the day. So when you're sitting watching TV, when you're kind of zoning out, you're actually kind of going into I don't know if I'd call it a meditative state, but you're going into a different state of consciousness than when you're fully awake. And that's why advertising on TV and stuff like that can be so effective because you're in this sort of, I don't know if I call it a hypnotic state, but you're in this different state of consciousness and then you're having ads kind of thrown at you. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But I guess what I'm saying with this card is you want to pay attention to mental focus, like what you're focusing on. Sort of your thoughts and beliefs about things will have a big impact on your well-being. So sometimes looking at that and changing that um, can be really helpful. Does that make sense? Let me know if that resonated for you. Okay, Arlene, you'd like a card for the general outlook for the next year. Okay, let me shuffle my deck again. And my cat has the sillies, and she just tripped over my cord that I have plugged in for my laptop. And she's zooming around and being super, super silly. Okay. Okay, so Arlene, pull a card for the general outlook for the next year. Okay, so Queen of Wands. All right, so this is a real powerhouse of a card, Arlene. I'm excited that this is the card that turned up for you. So the Queen of Wands is very, oh, she just has this energy. So I just finished my deep dive video on the Queen of Wands. I haven't uploaded it yet. I'm probably going to upload it next week. But the Queen of Wands, she's a very inspired character. Now, the message I'm getting for you, Arlene, is that 2023 is a year for you to really tap into your creative side, especially as it relates to the part of you that is kind of eccentric and can do things kind of outside the box, like outside the box thinking, not caring what others think of you. The more you kind of tap into this sort of energy, the more creative and inspired you're going to feel. The Queen of Wands is all about action and especially taking inspired action. So her behaviors, her actions, everything she puts her attention and energy into is fueled by what she's passionate about and the things that inspire her. So this isn't the year I mean, some years are great to focus on getting organized or sometimes the more kind of mundane aspects of life. The Queen of Wands isn't a mundane card. She's really good at tapping into that energy of inspiration and passion and following her dreams and doing things that may seem a little different to other people. Again, I emphasize that she's a card of action. This is about taking action on dreams that you have. The Queen of Wands is really good at manifesting, but she's good at manifesting because she's good at taking action. And she knows how to take what I would call aligned action. So this is where what she's passionate about, what motivates her and drives her, is in alignment with her actions, her thoughts, her feelings, her behaviors, her beliefs, her spiritual energy. All of that is in alignment. And so she is a real powerhouse. So I feel like 2023 could be a really powerful year for you, Arlene. So congratulations. Okay. Georgia says, what lesson may I learn during 2023? All right. All right, Georgia. Okay, Knight of Cups. Cool. So, what lesson will you learn in 2023? The Knight of Cups is, he's a very romantic and idealistic card. And one of his biggest frustrations is that real life and real people don't always live up to his romantic notions and his ideals. And so the challenge of the Knight of Cups is kind of staying optimistic, staying romantic, and staying open hearted, even in the face of disappointment, even when you feel let down. But his challenge is also to keep that beautiful open heartedness, but also to be a little more realistic in his expectations of others. So I'm trying to think of another way of saying that. I think what you're going to learn this year is how to stay in your heart. And this actually ties in with the Ace of Cups card that I pulled as the general reading card at the beginning. Um, I think you're going to learn how to stay in your heart and how to stay optimistic and loving, but also to be kind of compassionate and realistic to others. So, not having such high, lofty expectations of others moving forward. That sounds kind of bad now that I say it out loud, but it's not. It's not a bad thing. It's about not getting overly disillusioned when real life doesn't live up to your ideals or your romantic notions. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about that. I think you're going to learn how to stay compassionate and stay in your heart more effectively as you move through day-to-day life. Um, yeah, let me know if that resonates. Okay, I'm just gonna check on my fire because I think my fire's gone out, so just give me 1 sec. Okay, thanks for waiting. I forgot to add another piece of wood to my fire before I started. All right. Okay, Merry Christmas, Gary. Okay, Georgia, you said you pulled that card recently. Okay, that's cool. Okay, smiling is contagious. I would love to know where I could put more focus to create better balance in my life. All right. I'm noticing a theme with a lot of questions. And I notice that every time I do a live, I notice that there quite often everyone's question has a similar kind of thread. Okay, so where to put your focus to create better balance in your life? Okay. Oh, the sun. Beautiful. All right, so the sun is a very playful, optimistic, bright, sunny, happy card. So I think that focusing on cultivating joyfulness and playfulness is what you want to focus on. Focusing on letting the kind of playful, almost childlike side of yourself come out to play every now and then. Focusing on cultivating that sense of joy and optimism and again just like a this is a very playful open card. If you look at her body language, she almost looks like she's dancing. She has her arms outstretched and she's looking up at the sun, and you can just almost feel those rays like going down on her skin, and she's just like absorbing those rays, and she's letting the rays of the sun penetrate her skin. So there is this almost a receptivity with this card as well. So the first thing to focus on would be kind of cultivating playfulness, like giving yourself time to be playful, to be joyful. Asking yourself, what kinds of things help you feel that way, and making sure that you're incorporating that into your life. And I feel like that might be the missing puzzle piece that will kind of, once it's in place, will help you balance other areas as well. Because when you allow yourself to be more playful, and to be more kind of childlike and sun-like, um, you automatically get more energy for the other life areas. So doing that kind of recharges your batteries, and it will also help you get clarity on like, okay, what do I need to make a priority? What can I push to the side? So you get more clarity around organization, which is going to help you balance things as well. And also focusing on being receptive. So even thinking about like what does it mean to you to be receptive, to be in a state of receptivity? That also is going to help you balance things out in some roundabout sort of way. Being open to new ideas, being open and receptive. Okay. Okay, so Travis, you said you like my channel. Thank you, Travis. You'd love some insight on how someone like yourself who has high social anxiety can try to put myself out there to find love. Okay, I love that question. I'm going to shuffle my deck. Okay, so the card I got for you, Travis, is Four of Pentacles. Okay, so Four of Pentacles is an interesting card because and you said that you have social anxiety, and the Four of Pentacles isn't necessarily a card that I would associate with social anxiety, but it's a card of kind of keeping to oneself. And it's this card, sometimes it's associated with hoarding, and in your case, it's like you're hoarding yourself. So you're keeping yourself to yourself because there's fear there that if you step outside and share yourself with others that they might reject you or you might be judged in some way or you might have something to lose and you might regret it. And so with the Four of Pentacles, what I'm getting with this card is that creating a sense of containment and safety is going to be really important for you. So when it comes to getting out of your comfort zone, and in your case, I think you said it's so you can find love. So if the thought of like putting yourself out there, getting out there, meeting people, etc., brings up a lot of anxiety for you, how can you create a little bit of comfort and safety when you do that? So so finding a way to create a little bit of containment and safety when you go outside your comfort zone. So I'm trying to think of an example of what that might look like. Um, and I think first you want to get clear on like what aspects are most terrifying to you when you think about putting yourself out there, getting out there, meeting people, dating, or whatever. What parts are most terrifying or bring up the most anxiety for you? And once you're kind of clear on what those are, you can start to find ways to kind of um I want to say like bring a sense of comfort to yourself, bring a sense of grounding. I want to give an example of what I mean by this. Otherwise, I feel like it's not really going to make sense. Okay, so whenever I have to do something that's like way out of my comfort zone. So, for example, when I started doing stage performances many years ago, I was really into belly dance, and part of me really, really wanted to get out there and perform. And that's another thing with the Four of Pentacles. There's a part of you here that really wants to get out there and share yourself. But there's another part of you that is terrified to do so. You don't want to, but there's this part of you that does. And so when I first started dancing, I really, really wanted to perform, but I was also super terrified of doing that as well. And the thought of doing it made me want to vomit, and I would get sweaty and I'd be like a nervous wreck. But I really wanted to do it. So I found ways to calm my nerves so that I was able to perform. Now, I never felt perfectly relaxed when I was performing on a stage in front of people. I was always nervous, but I found ways to bring down my anxiety so that it was manageable. So I did certain breathing techniques. I would ground myself, I ground my energy. Yeah, I had certain breathing techniques that I did. I had a psychological thing that I did where I would pretend that the performance was just a dream. Like it wasn't real life, it was just a dream. So it didn't matter what happened. Um, I just had these ways of creating a little bit of comfort for myself in that moment, so that I wasn't super, super, super nervous. I was still nervous, but not totally nervous. So, so I hope that makes sense for you, Travis. Thank you for your question. Okay, so there's lots of comments here, lots of questions. I'm just gonna look here. So Misty says, "Are we all welcome to ask a question?" Absolutely. I'm not going to be able to do a reading for everyone, but you're welcome to ask a question. And of course, if you have questions just about tarot reading in general, I'm happy to answer those as well. Okay, Summer Breeze. Peace and joy to you and Merlina and the kitties. Thank you. May I ask the question, what do I need to know about a current issue that has come up? Okay. Okay, so the card that you got, Summer Breeze, is the Magician. Interesting. Okay, I'm just going to show you this card here. Sometimes when I put the card over my face, my camera will focus on it more. I don't know if it's focusing or not. All right, so the Magician. Okay, so this is interesting. So you said, what do I need to know about a current issue that has come up? So there's a couple of ways to see this card. The Magician can be a card of illusion and sometimes trickery. The Magician is really good at crafting an illusion. And so sometimes when the Magician comes up, it's because someone in your life is being, I wouldn't go so far as to say deceitful, but they're perhaps presenting themselves in a way that isn't really, I don't know if dishonesty would be the thing, but the Magician is good at creating illusions. Let's just put it that way. The other way to read this card is that the Magician is really kind of encouraging you to tap into your own powers, your own magical powers. And with the Magician, the message is saying that you have an amazing ability to manifest things and to make things happen. And again, it's all about alignment. When I was talking about, I think it was the Queen of Wands, I talked about alignment. The Magician is always about being in alignment. So making sure that the words you speak, your actions, your thoughts, your goals, and everything are in alignment with what you're wanting. And it's so easy to fall out of alignment when we think we want something, we say we want one thing, or we're trying to achieve a particular goal, but our actions aren't really in alignment with what we're trying to do. So the Magician is reminding you that you have this power of, once you get in alignment, you have this immense power to create things, to make things happen. You're more powerful than you realize. And yeah, that's what I get from the Magician. And also to know that we're all trickable, and sometimes people will sort of buy into an illusion that someone is selling us. And this may or may not resonate at all for you. But oftentimes we fall for an illusion because we really want to believe it. We really love the idea of that particular illusion. And so we're easily tricked because we want to believe that thing. We want to believe that particular illusion. But usually, when the magician comes up for someone, it's a reminder that you're much more powerful than you realize, especially when you focus your intentions. And there's so much power in setting an intention as well. Setting an intention can be very powerful. Just setting an intention alone isn't usually enough. You have to, everything else has to line up as well. You set the intention, but then if you aren't in alignment, then that intention is just a good intention. So it's setting intention, being in alignment. Those are also big, powerful messages of the magician. Okay. So I'm going to do a reading for, I always forget how to pronounce your name. I think it's Gurglay. And I know you also go by Greg. So you said, I'd like to ask what I need to focus on now or this last part of the year. Okay, right now, the end of the year, the last couple weeks of the year. Okay, so you got, Eight of Wands. Okay, so Eight of Wands is a card of speed. So what I get with this card is that things that you do where you put your energy and attention may have more of an oomph this time of year. Like there might be more power behind those things. So once you sort of get started on something, once you put your energy into something, it can really get the ball rolling and things can start progressing really quickly. There is your words have more power than usual right now. So things that you say and things that you write will have more of an impact in moving you forward at this time of year. So I think choosing your words carefully, and those include the words you use when you're kind of speaking to yourself and when you're thinking about things. Your thoughts and your words have a lot of power right now. And communication is also super important at the end of the year. And I feel like that is the communication we have with others, but also the way that we communicate to ourselves about things. So those are two really important things right now. And your exact question was, what do you need to focus on this last part of the year? Okay. Pay attention to communication and the words that you use. I also feel like when I look at this card, all of the wands are going towards the center, and there's this bright light in the center. So I think focus on where it is that you're wanting to go. What direction are you going? Where is everything leading? Paying attention to what direction you're going in and making sure that's the direction you want to keep going in. Do you want to change course? Because it feels like once you get the ball rolling, you're just going to like zoom forward. There is a sense of speed to this card. Okay, hopefully that made sense. Do you find it difficult being objective when reading cards for yourself? Yeah, for sure. Whenever you read for yourself, it is trickier to be objective. I find it hard to be objective when I'm reading for others too sometimes. So yeah, it is tricky to be objective when you're reading with yourself or reading for yourself. I just notice that, like I keep that in mind that it's going to be hard to be objective. So if I have particular biases or if I'm doing a reading for myself and I have a really strong desire about how I want things to be or what cards I want to come up, just noticing that before the reading can be helpful. And if it's something that I feel like I'm not going to be able to read in an objective way, then I might change the question that I'm reading about. So, trying to think of an example of that. Yeah, if I'm sitting down to read for myself and whatever I'm reading about is something I'm super charged about, then I might avoid reading about that specific thing and I'll read about, um, you know, I might do a reading for myself saying, how can I be more objective in this reading? What's going to help me be more objective? And then do the reading. So do a reading before the reading. Okay, a sense. Oh, I would like to ask how I could become a better communicator. Okay. So the card you got is two of cups. This is funny because I think of this card as being kind of a communication card. Okay. So, um two of cups. Two of cups is about really bonding with someone, really connecting with someone. And I think that when you have a common ground or a common goal, that can sometimes make communication easier. So when you're communicating with someone, especially if it's like a difficult conversation or a tense situation, asking yourself, okay, what do I have in common with this person? So finding some common goal or common ground first can help you choose your words well and communicate in kind of a heartfelt way. The Two of Cups is a card of the heart. It's about really being in your heart when you're communicating as opposed to in your head. So if I'm, for example, mad at my husband, which happens a lot. Let's say I'm mad at my husband for some reason. Um, if I sit down with him and have a conversation with him, like let's say he's doing something that's pissing me off. Um, if I sit down and have a conversation from my head, I'm going to make it an argument and I'll try to make myself right. I'll try to win the argument. I'll try to present evidence. I'll be doing this in a very analytical way. And quite often, when you communicate like that to someone, it doesn't really get through in the way that you want it to. So, if you take a moment to sort of be more heart centered and speak from a place of feeling and compassion, almost like for a moment, you want to kind of pretend that the person you're communicating with is like a part of yourself. So instead of seeing them as a separate person, seeing them as a part of yourself and thinking, okay, how would I want to be spoken to? What would put me at ease in this situation? And kind of starting from there. So being in your heart as you sit down to have a conversation with someone. Does that make sense? Is that clear? I feel like that's what's going to really help you with your communication right now. Mm. Okay. Steve says you're traveling the world, but wonder what I should be looking out for in 2023. All right. Okay, Steve. I got Two of Cups. Okay, maybe I didn't. Well, no, I did shuffle my deck pretty good. Interesting. And this usually happens when I do lives. Like one card will keep popping up. Okay, so the Two of Cups. You want to know what you need to know about what you should you be looking out for in 2023. Okay, so there's the possibility of a relationship or some kind of connection. It could also be a friendship that's just a deep friendship, but some kind of more of an emotional connection with someone. There may be more opportunities for that in 2023. I also feel like there's the opportunity for partnership, and there's different ways that that partnership can come into play. So it could be a romantic partnership, it could be a friendship, it could be a business partnership as well. Um, but I definitely get the sense that working together with someone is better than doing it all by yourself in 2023. So 2023 will be more of a year to focus on collaboration as opposed to trying to do everything yourself. All right. Lori, yes, that's what we're doing. We're doing readings. You asked, are we doing readings? I just got here. Um, okay, Becky, will I continue working as an independent journalist or will I get a job writing for another website? Okay, so what does Becky need to know about her work situation moving forward? Ooh, 9 of Pentacles. Okay, I don't know if this is going to answer your question or not, but I'm going to give it a go. So 9 of Pentacles is actually a card of, I think of this as being kind of a luxurious card. It's a card of ease and relaxation. And so your question was, will I continue working as an independent journalist or will I get a job working for another website? Okay, so of those two choices, which choice feels the easiest? Like which option would allow for more space and ease? I would imagine both are going to be busy and hectic, but that's just me jumping in there with my mind. The 9 of Pentacles, in a way, it's saying, this isn't something you need to stress about. And there's something okay, so I'll just say the general message of the 9 of Pentacles, and then maybe it will connect with your question. So the 9 of Pentacles is advising you to really be present, to really be in the now, and to enjoy the physical aspect of day-to-day life, to really tap into your sensual side and to make time to just kind of do nothing. I know some people love doing that, and some people are really uncomfortable with just having a day where they don't do a lot, where they just read and relax and sip tea. That's like my favorite kind of day, but I know some people are just like, oh no, I got to be busy. I got to be doing things. So the 9 of Pentacles is saying there's actually a lot of value in creating some space for yourself to just be and to just be present and to enjoy good food and good drinks and to just relax. Oh, Becky, oh, that's interesting. Becky, you said you got laid off a few weeks ago. In a way, this kind of makes sense. The 9 of Pentacles, not that getting laid off is going to put you in this relaxed state of mind. I'm sure it isn't. But the 9 of Pentacles is saying, take advantage of this time because chances are it's going to get busy soon enough. So take advantage of this time where you maybe don't have a lot of work on the go and really use it to kind of recharge your batteries and give you that time and that space. And out of that will come clarity about where to put your focus and what to focus on. So I don't think I really answered your question, which was, will I continue working as an independent or will I get a job writing for another website? The 9 of Pentacles, in financial terms, it's saying, don't worry. It's saying, don't worry, things will work out, things will fall into place. The 9 of Pentacles is about being financially comfortable. So I have a feeling that all of this will work out. So another question I have for you is, what would make you better off financially? Continuing as an independent or work? I'm guessing working for a website would probably be better for you financially. If that's the case, I think things will probably lead in that direction because the 9 of Pentacles is a card of financial ease and abundance. So Karen, you said, sometimes I look at the 2 of Cups as a choice card. Could this work too for some people? Yeah, that's right. That's another way of seeing the 2 of Cups. I never see it that way, but I know that that is traditionally another way of seeing the 2 of Cups is choice, making a choice. And there's some decks that will have a man and there's 2 women, and one is like a kind of a one is like a high class lady and the other one is like very sexy. And it's like sort of the Madonna whore uh, dilemma or complex or whatever. um, and it's like, what are you going to choose? And I think another way to look at it could be like choosing between what is socially desirable and what you truly want. Um, so yeah, I know that that's another way of seeing the Two of Cups. I never really interpret the card that way for some reason, but yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so Tammy, you said, I would love any kind of reading you feel drawn to for me. All right. Oh, yes. Actually, Maura, you said lovers is choice. I'm thinking of the lovers. I don't know how I got Two of Cups confused with the lovers. It's actually the lovers that I was talking about with the two types of women. That's the lovers, not the Two of Cups. Yeah, the Two of Cups I don't typically see as being about choice, but I suppose it could be. All right. Okay, so Tammy, I'm going to draw a card for you. And the card you got is the lovers. How weird is that? We're just talking about that card and it's shown up. Okay. The lovers is one of those cards. I feel like this card is still kind of a mystery to me sometimes when it comes up. I'm like, what is this card trying to tell me? So the lovers, there's a few different ways of reading this card, Tammy. So the first way of reading it is it's speaking about your love life. And this could be, and I don't know where you are relationship wise, but the lovers can signify the potential for a relationship this year, or if you're already in a relationship, a deepening and an enriching of that current relationship. The lovers is also, as Morris said, it's a card of choice. So yeah, the lovers can be a card of choice. Although when I look at it, that's not what I'm thinking. I feel like this is a very passionate card. Um, and I do feel like there is this sense of passion and connection with the lovers. And there's different ways that this theme can play out in your life. So, number one is it can play out within a relationship where you feel very drawn to another person, you're very connected, very passionate. It can also play out in your work as well. So, feeling very passionate about something and very connected to a particular project. Um, I don't normally interpret this in terms of creativity, but as I look at this card right now, it's making me think of creative expression and really channeling your passion and the things that you feel connected to into some kind of creative project or creative pursuit. Yeah, so those are all things that come to mind when I look at this card. Let me know what you think, Tammy, if that made sense or if that didn't make sense. Let me know. Okay. Okay, Maura D. I'm going to pull a card for you for the year ahead. Okay. So, Maura, the card you got here is Eight of Wands. All right. This is exciting. Eight of Wands is an exciting card. This is a high energy card. Things are moving quickly in the Eight of Wands. And as a card to represent the year ahead, this could be a year for you where you move forward quite quickly and where your actions and the things you put your attention on have the power to have more oomph this year than other years. So, things that you focus on, even just taking little steps towards something, will have a big impact this year. This is a year of movement. Um, there's a lot of energy with this card, and the energy seems to all be it's like these 8 wands are all converging to go in one direction. So some questions that this card brings up is what direction do you want to move in? And I find sometimes like I will have many years or many months that seem very slow moving and not a lot happening. And so if I think, okay, well, now things are picking up, things are speeding up, and my actions and intentions are going to have more power, I need to get more intentional. I need to start paying attention here. So if you think of it in those terms, that things are going to speed up, what direction do you want to go in? Because I think the things you put your focus on and your energy into this year are going to have more power. It's going to pack more of a punch. Also, and I talked about this the first time I read the Eight of Wands, that this is about communication as well. So that's another thing to focus on in 2023. I think that your words have a lot of power this year. And so writing things down can be helpful. And the way you speak about things, the words that you use, the way you communicate with people, all of these things are going to have a lot of importance in 2023. And Maura, you said that you have many things going on and you don't know where to focus. Interesting, because with the Eight of Wands, there's those 8 wands. And to me, I kind of saw that as being kind of like 8 different life areas, kind of all coming together and going in one direction. So if you have a lot of things going on, you don't know where to focus. Um, I think if you start with just one thing, it almost feels like these different areas in your life where you have things going on, I feel like some of them feel a little bit disorganized. And I think that you don't need to figure it all out. If you focus on one area and one thing for a little bit and kind of bring that into balance and give that some attention, the other things will kind of fall in line. So don't feel like you have to spread yourself thin and give equal attention to everything in your life right now. Just focusing on one or two of those things. It kind of in some ways doesn't matter where you start. Just start with the thing that feels most important right now. And if it all feels equal, then like flip a coin or, or whatever. And I think just starting with one or two things and focusing on a couple things, in turn, that's going to kind of create a little more organization and clarity in the other areas. I hope that that adds up for you. Okay, Andrea says, I took 12 weeks off of work for time for myself and family. The job I needed a break from, I don't think is right for me. What do I need to know or focus on to toughen up? Okay. So you got the Emperor. This is interesting. So Andrea, um, the Emperor shows that actually there's a part of you that really wants to be more independent. So I don't know if you've thought about self-employment or starting your own business, or even just not necessarily being self-employed, but working in a more independent sort of way. Um, yeah, with the Emperor, I get that there's a part of you that doesn't want to be told what to do or go along with someone else's plan about how things should be. You kind of have your own ideas and you do have this really independent streak that needs to be nurtured. And I think part of the reason you weren't fulfilled in your last job, I think there was a lot of reasons, but one was that your ability to be independent and to make decisions wasn't respected in the way that it should have been. And that's something that's important to you. And so the Emperor is saying you need to have a strategy. So you need to plan things out ahead. You need to think things through and have some kind of more of a long-term strategy moving forward when it comes to work. But the Emperor says that you are ready for something where you have more responsibility, more power, more independence. So there's different, that might look like self-employment, that might look like starting your own business, or just switching careers? Now, I'm just going to reread your question to make sure I'm understanding. So you actually asked, what do I need to know or focus on to toughen up? I think you need to know that you are kind of like the emperor a little bit. There might be part of you that's a little bit stubborn and you have your idea of how things should be, but there's a part of you that's very good at decision making, planning ahead, um, taking action. There's a part of you that's really powerful, and I think it's important that that part of you is honored in whatever work you end up doing. Um, Yeah, you asked, what do I need to know to toughen up? This is a pretty tough card. I think that you want to connect with your sort of inner emperor. There's a part of you that is like this emperor. And I think that by honoring that and respecting that and acknowledging that part of yourself and kind of meeting with that part of yourself, even if you feel like the part of you that is emperor like is maybe just a little piece, maybe it's not your whole personality, but there's a part of you that's like that. And I think the more that you make friends with that part of you, the more that you align with that part of you, the easier, or maybe not the easier things are going to be, but the more clarity you're going to have and more strength and power you will have as you move forward. Okay. All right. Andrea. Okay, good. Okay, I'm just gonna scroll up and read some of these comments because I know I miss like 80% of the questions and comments that get posted because I'm talking. All right. Um, uh, Amy, Amy B says, I would love a year ahead card if possible. Okay, so Amy, I'm gonna pull a card for you. Okay, so Amy, you got 10 of Swords. Okay. So 10 of Swords is what I call a challenge card. Now, when I draw these cards, I don't draw them with the intention that the cards are going to predict your year ahead. I draw the cards with the intention that they tell you what you need to know for the year ahead. So don't get worried. Don't be like, oh God, 10 of Swords, 2023 is going to be horrible. This is just telling you what you need to know, what you should keep in mind as you move into 2023. So we have the 10 of Swords. And the 10 of Swords is honestly about having the wisdom um, to know when to throw the towel in on something and when to stick with something. So 2023, especially at the start of 2023, can be a really powerful time to kind of take stock of things and think, okay, what do I want to continue putting my energy into? And this is actually what I would normally say if you got like the 2 of Wands. But the 10 of Swords is about knowing when to give up and when to keep going. And so the message is that just because you give up on something and you stop putting your energy into something doesn't always equate failure. Because I think sometimes we avoid giving up on something because we think that then we will have failed at something. And the 10 of Swords is saying, no, sometimes there's power in finally kind of admitting, like, okay, I'm just gonna throw in the towel and give up on this one thing. Um, Now, as I look at this card, I'm noticing that all the birds on this card are flying in one direction. So I'll let you have a look at it. And it's like the girl in this card is watching where those birds are flying. And it makes me think of when you've got something that you're maybe really working hard with and you're putting a lot of your energy into something and it's just not panning out. and then looking up at those birds and noticing like, oh, the party's over that way and I'm here trying to do this. Meanwhile, the energy is that way. I'm kind of being it's like that feeling of being called in one direction, but you're still clinging to something. You're like, "No, but I have to, like, figure this out. I can't go do that till I figure this out." And sometimes it's time to just, like, be like, "No, I'm just gonna put this to the side, and I'm gonna go in the direction that I feel called." So in a way, and I don't normally read the 10 of swords this way, but in a way, I get the sense that this is a card of saying like 2023 is a year to really tap into yourself and notice where what direction are you being called in? What's your calling? Where are you being called to? Um I get that this card is a card of a journey of some sorts. I'm just going to scroll down here. Yeah, so I get the sense that this is kind of it kind of reminds me of the 8 of Cups a little bit. So she's about to go on some sort of journey, but that journey involves perhaps leaving something behind. So I think that 2023 may be a year of like shedding certain things, kind of letting go of certain things and moving in a slightly different direction. Let me know. I'm curious, Amy. Oh, it does resonate. Okay. I was going to say, I'm curious if that resonates or not. Okay. Thank you so much, Amy. There's almost a feeling of relief with the 10 of swords because I know it is a challenge card. I know sometimes people are like, oh, the 10 of swords. But there is like this feeling of relief of just being like, oh, this isn't working out. I'm gonna like just I'm gonna just throw in the towel here. There is like this feeling of like once you make that decision, it's like and it's all this energy like comes flooding back to you for the new path that you want to take. So in some ways it's kind of a card of relief in some senses, I think. Yeah, so Amy, you said you are on a journey and you want to become more process oriented instead of goal oriented. I understand that. Yeah. Okay, Tatiana says, "Can I have advice from my spiritual guides for 2023?" All right. Mm. So I'm just going to shuffle my cards here. So Tatiana, you got ooh, 6 of wands. Okay, I really like this card actually. All right, so 6 of wands. Traditionally, this is a card of success. So I do see the 6 of wands. It's kind of saying that um, success is coming your way in 2023 with whatever not that you're going to be successful at every single thing you do in 2023, but there will be a success waiting for you on the other side with some of the things that you put your time and your attention and energy into. With the 6 of wands, I feel and you'd asked for sort of what did you say? Advice from your spiritual guides. So something that comes up for me when I look at the 6 of wands is performing. So I don't know if performing in front of people is something that you've been wanting to do or something that you currently do. But in this card, this girl is like on a stage, and you might not be able to see it, but these white things all along there are hands reaching up, and she's got the spotlight on her. And it feels like there's something that you're ready to share with others. There's something that you want to share. There's some kind of talent or special skill or gift that you have that you are now at the point that you're ready to really develop that skill or that gift, perhaps even to the point of performing in front of an audience. And it does feel like 2023 is a year where you want to really kind of step into that light and it may even be about sort of getting out of your comfort zone. I think the big message and takeaway from the 6 of wands is, do you see yourself as successful right now? Like, do you have a hard time thinking of yourself as being successful? Are you able to look back over your past and recognize and kind of pat yourself on the back for your accomplishments and your achievements? And in the future, can you see yourself in the future succeeding and being successful at something? These are the kinds of questions you want to ponder and think about with this card, because I think that's the secret to really being successful this year, is to really start to think of yourself as successful and to start to really feel confident and successful. It is really a card of um, someone said victory, performance, and also confidence. All right, Moonlight. What should I be aware of in 2023? Okay, so Temperance, and I don't read reversals, but this came out of the deck reversed. So I'm going to kind of read it reversed. All right, so what do you need to be aware of? So Temperance to me is a card of balance and moderation. And because it was upside down, I'm going to say that this might be something that you are challenged by in 2023. So it might be challenging for you to maintain a sense of balance and moderation this year. So let's talk about temperance. So, like I said, temperance is a card of balance, and the angel on this card has looks like a moon and a sun. So it's that yin yang kind of energy. And think of the energy of the sun as this like bright, warm, hot, extroverted energy. And the moon does not generate its own light. It reflects the light of the sun. But the moon is dark, and well, one side of the moon is dark, and it is more thought to be kind of calming in a way, more sort of yin, inward focused, sort of feminine energy. Sun is that outward, sort of more masculine energy. It's that kind of yin yang. And whenever temperance comes up in a reading, it's encouraging you to cultivate balance and to do things in moderation and not do anything in the extreme. Now, because it was reversed, it shows that you might find this really challenging in 2023. There's a part of you that might not want to be moderate in certain areas, and you might find that kind of challenging. But it's saying that, focusing on creating a sense of balance and moderation will be really helpful for you in 2023. Oh, sorry, Nadia. I didn't see any of your questions. I'm so sorry. But you don't want to wait, so you're out. Okay, well, thanks for being here, Nadia. And I do apologize. I'm not going to be able to read for everyone here. But I wish I could. Okay. Queen of Swords Tarot. You would like me to draw you a card. Would love to know what comes up relating to love. Okay. All right, so Queen of Swords Tarot, you got King of Wands. All right. So I don't know where you are in your love life, if you're partnered, single, looking. um, but you got the King of Wands. So I almost feel like this is like either someone you're partnered with now or a potential partner coming up for you, since you asked about love. Okay, so let's talk about the King of Wands. The King of Wands is a character he's very energetic, and he's has this like adventurous spirit. He's basically like, think of the Knight of Wands but mature. So he was maybe really wild and adventurous and kind of crazy in his youth, but he isn't anymore. He's matured, and he has kind of like it's like a nice combination of qualities of having that fiery, passionate, creative, adventurous energy, but with maturity. So it's not this unhinged, all over the place kind of energy. So he feels exciting to me anyway. So Queen of Swords Tarot, you said you're single right now. Okay, great. So I do see this card as like a potential love interest for you. And Yeah, I guess that's all I need to say. I do think that your love life has the potential to kind of shift this year and for things to get interesting. And the King of Wands does have this really beautiful kind of energy. He has this warmth and this light, and he's very much well, he's quite good looking. He's kind of the perfect man. Um, what else do I want to say about him? Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to say. Just that he feels really exciting and energetic. I can't think of anything bad to say about this guy actually. Yeah, so I don't know if that was helpful or not. Hopefully it was. Okay. So Reiki B, you said, lovely tree in the background. Hopefully the kitties are behaving. Yeah, they've been really good with my tree this year. Some years they've climbed the tree and they've knocked decorations off. What I did differently this year is I didn't do any shiny balls on my tree. Normally every year I do those little shiny glass balls, and those tend to be the things that they knock off and bat around. And this year I was just too tired and lazy to put them on at the end. So I was like, I'm just going to skip them. And it's actually been really good. They haven't messed with the tree very much at all. Okay, Gideon. Sending you love and light from South Africa. Thank you, Gideon. I would like to have a card to know if 2023 is going to be the year my dream of reading tarot is going to come to fruition. Thank you. Okay. So, Gideon, you got the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is saying, relax. So I don't know, when you say the dream of reading is the dream of reading tarot, I'm unclear if you mean reading professionally or just learning how to read tarot. Let me know in the comments if you mean just learning tarot or reading it on a professional basis. If it's reading professionally, the Nine of Pentacles is a card of financial abundance and feeling kind of at ease in that area. So I think that there's a strong possibility that this could be the year for you, where you do start to make money from doing tarot readings. But the overall message of the Nine of Pentacles seems to be telling you it's funny, sometimes we'll ask the cards a specific question and then they'll give us information, but it will relate to our question, but it won't necessarily answer it in a direct way. So the message I get with the Nine of Pentacles is that the more at ease and relaxed you are when it comes to reading tarot, or if you're reading, if you're learning tarot, then when it comes to learning tarot, and if you're wanting to read professionally, the more relaxed you are about it, the more successful you're going to be. Something happens when you get, I don't want to say uptight, but when you get worried about something, or if you really want something badly, you can sort of create tension around that thing. And then the Nine of Pentacles is really advocating for taking kind of like a relaxed, sort of laid back approach to your readings and your reading practice. That's really going to help kind of free up your intuition. It's going to help you with readings. And if you're wanting to manifest an income from doing readings, it's going to help with that as well. So you clarified here, you said, I've been practicing to read for the past 5 years. So yes, I would love to start reading professionally. Okay, so it looks really good for you. Nine of Pentacles looks great. And I think having another source of income will be helpful for you, because if you're trying to rely just on doing professional readings to earn all of your money, that's going to create a lot of stress and pressure for you. And that's going to get in the way of being able to actually read and be successful with that. So having another stream of income that will help you develop your side business of reading tarot in a relaxed kind of way, so that you don't feel like hungry for the business, where it's more like, you're like, I have this ability to read. I really want to share it with people. I really want to help people through this, skill that I have. And doing it in a really relaxed way is gonna actually make you more attractive. People are gonna be more attracted to you as opposed to if you're, like, really trying to support yourself just with readings, it's gonna give off more of a tense kind of vibe. So, yeah, so that's my advice to you with this card. Okay, Lisa Marie, you said, "If you have enough time, would love to see what the cards have to say regarding my current love situation." Okay, I'm just gonna have a little bit of tea here, and then I'll draw a card for you. Okay, I'm gonna give my deck a really good shuffle this time. Okay, so Lisa Marie, you ask, "What do the cards have to say regarding your current love situation?" Are you single or in a relationship? Or is it complicated? Just let me know, just so I know how to kind of talk about whatever card comes up. Okay, so the card I got for you, Lisa, is the devil. And he is, again, I forgot to put all the cards in right side up, so he's reversed. So the devil reversed. I don't feel like the devil reversed really changes how I'm going to read it, though. Okay. So you said it's complicated. Laugh out loud. Okay. The devil. All right. So, well, he's really sexy. Anyhow, he's a sexy devil. um, where do I start with this one? The devil can be a card of addiction. It can also be a card of manipulation because see, he's got this woman, she's like his puppet. He's got strings. There's strings attached here. He's kind of pulling her strings. Um, and yet he's very seductive looking. So there's this really seductive quality to this card. So your original question was, let me just scroll up so I can read it. Um, okay, your current love situation. Okay, so a question I have for you is um do you feel like you're being manipulated or no? Because that might not resonate for you at all. Is there any addictive qualities to this current love situation? And you don't have to tell me the answers. Oh, you said that's accurate. Okay, good. You don't have to tell me the answers to these in the comments. But do you feel like there's maybe an addictive quality to this relationship or this love situation? What I get with this card is that this relationship may not be the healthiest at this time. There may be some you may find yourself kind of like giving your power away a little bit to this person and this relationship. You might find yourself sacrificing your values, your ideals, your even your boundaries. And you may sort of find yourself when you're with this person, you may find yourself feeling like you're another person, like you become another person when you're with them, or that this person brings out a certain side of you that you don't normally experience. Um, and you're saying, wow, yes, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah. So, so let's draw one more card to see like what should you focus on here? What should you keep in mind? Because I feel like the devil just kind of sums up the situation. And maybe that's all you need to know. Maybe you just needed to hear that from me. So let's see. The other card I got is, oh, Five of Cups. Okay. So I'll show you this card. There's something about this relationship that there might be certain things that feel really exciting and good in a bad way, kind of like, yeah. But there's also things that make you feel not so good about yourself as well. And yeah, with the 5 of cups, I'm really drawn to her knocking this bowl with her foot into this black hole. And it's almost like there's something about this dynamic that causes you to focus on some of your more negative qualities, and it might focus you to sort of dwell more on the negative side of things. And I just feel like your energy is being drained by this relationship. That's kind of what it feels like. It feels like this isn't and again, I'm drawn to the first time I read this card for someone else, I was drawn to the bowl of lights in the background, and it's like you have all these wonderful, amazing qualities, but it's like your light is being kind of ignored in this relationship, and, um, I feel like yeah, I feel like this might not be the healthiest dynamic, and let's see what you say. Yeah, you said you appreciate this so much. Yeah, so okay, so it sounds like that resonated with you. So it feels like something you can do, right now is to focus on your light. So focusing on that, and I don't know if you can really see it here very well, but there's like right behind her. You might actually want to Google this particular card to get a clearer picture of it. But there's this golden bowl of all these beautiful colored lights behind her. And I feel like that bowl, in a way, represents your soul and your soul's gifts and your inner light, the light of your soul. And I think focusing on that, and I'm trying to think like, what does that mean? How do you focus on the light of your soul? So for me, like focusing on your good qualities and just kind of reminding yourself of your power, your strength, your good qualities, maybe even doing some kind of meditation where you're bringing in light or you're connecting with that inner light. I like to imagine all these little lights lighting up in all my cells and then getting brighter and brighter and brighter till I'm just like emanating light. And I find that there's something very energizing about doing that meditation, that visualization. There's something very empowering about it. So that's something to maybe focus on just to kind of bring that light into your body and energize yourself. Okay. Okay, great. I'm glad that it resonated for you. Yeah. Yeah, definitely a learning opportunity, as someone else said. So Claire, yes, you can certainly ask a question. Anyone here can ask a question. I'm going to check on my fire and I'm going to be right back. Okay. It's really cold where I am right now. I'm in Canada and it's super cold. We've got a lot of snow and it's so cold. I spent 3 hours outside last night doing something and it was just like that kind of cold that just like seeps into your bones. And I had a hot bath last night and I have my wood stove going. I still can't get warm though. It's just really, really cold right now. And my fire keeps going out. Okay, let's see. So yeah, I'll draw a couple more cards for anyone who wants one. And I'll do a couple more readings and then I'll close it down. But if anyone has any questions about tarot, reading, learning tarot, um, anything like that, feel free to ask. I'm always happy to answer any questions. All right. So Diana asks, how can I regain the lighthearted part of myself in 2023? Okay, so you got the Six of Swords. So it's interesting because this card doesn't feel lighthearted, but it's telling you how to get back to that lighthearted part of yourself. And the Six of Swords is a card of it symbolizes a journey, and it symbolizes leaving something behind and to a different sh- going to different shores. So if you look at the card, there's a girl in a boat and she has a big suitcase with her in the boat, and she's being pulled by all these crows or ravens, which is really cool. And yeah, Six of Swords is a card of transition. And what I get from this card is that you are in a period of transition, and transitions can be tricky. Sometimes it's hard to be lighthearted and to I'm just going to read how you worded it. Um, I've lost your I've lost your comment now. Hold on. Uh, oh, the lighthearted part of myself. Yeah. So when you're going through a time of transition, it can be hard to capture that lighthearted part of yourself because transitions are tricky. Change is tricky. Um, and what I'm getting from this is that 2023 will continue to be a year of transition, but that you're moving to greener pastures. And sometimes a change is as good as a rest. um, and so, a few ways to reignite that more lighthearted part of yourself. The first thing that comes to mind is changing up your routine a little bit. So if you are normally a creature of habit and you have the same kinds of routines, switching up your routine can actually um, kind of switch up your energy and help you get more in touch with that lighthearted, kind of curious, joyful energy. I'm also drawn to the fact that the girl on this card is wearing a red cape. That red cape makes me think of sort of energy and passion. What are you passionate about right now? What kinds of things are you interested in? What gets you excited? What piques your curiosity and your interest? Focusing on those things is going to help you cultivate that more lighthearted energy again. And also asking yourself, what am I leaving behind, or what do I want to leave behind? So seeing yourself as being in this transition, like you're the girl in the boat, you're leaving one shore to go to another shore. What are you leaving behind, both good and bad? What do you want to let go of? What baggage do you want to unload as you make this transition? And what new things do you want to cultivate on the other side? When you get to that new shore, what kinds of things do you want to focus on and cultivate? Okay, so one more reading. Maria, I'll try again. I'm okay. Sorry, Maria. You probably asked a few times and I haven't seen it. I would love to know about what's next for me in love. All right. So, last reading, because I can feel my brain starting to kind of glitch out here. Normally, it glitches out early. Normally, after an hour, my brain stops working as well. Okay, so Maria, I'll draw a card for what's next for you in love. All right, 10 of Cups. Ooh, this is such a beautiful card. So 10 of Cups is this is actually a great card to get if you're asking about love. This is a love card. When people ask about love, I always wish for either the Lovers, the 2 of Cups, or the 10 of Cups, as those are all love cards. So this is a very good card to get. This is the 10 of Cups is a happily ever after card. It's kind of dreams coming true. And I can't remember. I'm just going to see how you worded your question. What's next for you in love? So I'm guessing that you're single and you're looking for a relationship. I'm just guessing that. I know I've read for you before and I think that that was your situation, but I can't remember. So 10 of Cups is a very positive card to get. It really shows that there is a high possibility, a probability of a relationship coming into your life and that relationship being positive and really flourishing. Right now, if you're single right now, and I just want to see if you commented. No, not yet. Okay, but if you're single right now, something to focus on would be, what kind of a relationship do I want to attract? What kind of a partner? And I don't think it's necessarily helpful to get super specific on like qualities and things like that. But in generality, what kind of a relationship? Like, how do you want to feel when you're in that relationship? When you meet that special person, like, how would you like to feel when you're spending time with them? Okay, and you clarified that you're single. Yeah. So, how do you want that person to make you feel? Or how do you want to feel when you're around them? How do you want to feel about them? And because the 10 of cups, the suit of cups is all about feelings and emotions. And so you don't want to think, okay, what's my ideal relationship? And then make like a list. That's more swordsy. That's more like mental kind of focus energy. You want to think like, how do I want to feel in this relationship? What do I want this relationship to feel like? Yeah, so yeah, really positive card to get. It's a nice card to end things on. So that's my last reading, and I wanna say thank you so much for everyone who came here for a reading or who just came here to hang out. I wanna thank you for all your wonderful questions, and thank you so much for those of you who let me read for you. It was such an honor. I hope that you found the readings helpful, and for those of you who didn't get a reading, I hope you at least found it interesting kind of listening to the readings. And I hope you got something out of that too, because I feel like even though I was reading for, specific people, because we're all here as a group, I do feel like the readings in some weird way are kind of for everyone. I feel like there's something that everyone can take from each of those readings. Um, so yeah, so thank you so much. So um my brain is starting to gweeb out, but I still have enough juice to answer a couple questions if anyone has any like tarot related questions. Jabby asked what workshops are coming up for the spring. Ooh, I'm so glad you asked. So, I'm working on a workshop that will probably happen in early January, very early January about and I wasn't sure if I was going to do this or not, but I guess if I announce it, I'm going to have to do it. Um so I'm working on a workshop on sort of, I don't want to say goal setting, but like kind of dreaming, crafting your year ahead using tarot. So something you do kind of at the beginning of January. And again, not really goal setting, but like, like kind of planning out your year ahead in a way, your intentions and things like that, but incorporating tarot into that. So I think I'm going to do that. Um, and I'm also working on a new course that I'm hoping I'll have available in the spring. Um, and I haven't created it yet, so I actually don't want to say anything. But yeah, those are the things that are going to be coming up. Um, okay, what is a good deck for younger children who are interested in learning tarot? 7 to 13 years. I would say the Uh, Hanson Roberts tarot is a good one. The cards are smaller too, so they would if you have small hands, it would be really easy. It's kind of like a mini deck, and there's something almost kind of childlike with those illustrations. They feel very childlike to me. It's a really lovely deck, but I would recommend that one. Oh, Amber says, "Are you still doing readings?" Yeah, I'm gonna be offering private readings in January. So, if you wanna be notified, you can hop on my mailing list. I'm gonna actually I'll put a link in the chat, um, about that. Just give me 2 secs here. If you're already on my mailing list, then, um, I will let you know. So I usually put my readings up for sale in kind of the first week in January. So I'm going to put a link to how you can get onto my mailing list if you're not already on it. Okay. Okay, so I just posted the link in the chat. Um yeah. So get on my mailing list and I'll notify you via email once I put those readings up. Okay. Oh, Lisa, you said any insight into the Seven of Swords? I'm very stuck on the many interpretations of it. Okay, so I'll give you my interpretation, my favorite interpretation of the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is about honesty and authenticity, as it relates to being honest with yourself. So when the Seven of Swords comes up, I feel like it's encouraging us to be true to ourselves about what we're really wanting and having the courage to be ourselves and not wear a mask, not hide who we really are. And I think sometimes we tiptoe around others, um, and we mask who we really are because we don't want to rock the boat. It's not necessarily that we're deceitful people who want to trick others, but we don't want to upset people. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to cause problems. So we kind of project this sort of false this false idea of who we are. And so when the Seven of Swords comes up, it can be a call to be honest with yourself, be more authentic in how you present yourself to others. So that's my interpretation of it. Hopefully that helps. Seven of Swords was a card that I really struggled with for a long time. Okay. What advice do you have on readings with different decks? So, are you talking about using multiple decks in one reading? That's not something I usually do myself. I know I used to incorporate oracle cards with my tarot cards, and sometimes I would do like a big spread where I do like the top row would be from one deck, the middle row would be from another, bottom row from another, and that's actually a fun thing to do. I did enjoy. I haven't read like that for ages. I don't know why, but that's kind of a fun thing to do. Using three different decks, and of course, it's really exciting when like the same cards show up. So that can be fun. Yeah, I don't know if I really have any like advice though in terms of using different decks. Lizelle says, "Good morning from Japan." Good morning, Lizelle. Okay. I'll just see if there's one more question, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Do you have any good Oh, yeah. Do you have any good year ahead spreads that work really well? Um, okay, so I have the ones that you can find on my website. So I'll give you a link to one of those. Let me just find it here. So yeah, if you go to my website is dailytarotgirl.com, and actually I'll put the link to my site in the chat for everyone if you want to check out my website. I've got lots of fun tarot exercises and learning resources on there for you to explore. Tarot card spreads. Let's have a look here. I've got a couple different New Year's ones, I believe. Mapping out your year ahead. Okay. Okay, so here's a fun one. I'll just share this one. And I actually just created a brand new New Year's spread. And I haven't like uploaded it yet, so I'm going to be sharing that in the next week or so. But I created a really a new spread for this year, but I'm going to share it in a few days, not yet. So stay tuned. Okay. All right. So I'm going to gonna wrap things up. So I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a wonderful New Year. I will be posting my New Year's video, I guess next week sometime, or probably early next week. So stay tuned for that. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here and hanging out with me. It's been so much fun. And yeah, have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, evening, or morning, depending on where in the world you are. And happy tarot reading. Bye-bye.